Tokyo Game Show 2015 came to a close, so we decided to make a video talking about the various games that Sega has been working on. We already did a Yakuza video talking about Yakuza 1 and Yakuza 6, and that could be on the description below or linked in the video somewhere. But let's start by talking about Phantasy Star Online 2 Episode 4, which got a graphic update. What do you think about that, Barry?
I'd love to play Episode 1. I'd like to be playing it at all. That's what I think about it. But
did you see the trailer?
I did. It looks beautiful. I really want to play it. Yeah.
Do you feel like you've waited too long and like you've been waiting for you've been waiting for like this franchise to get here to America? That now you kind of feel like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I kind of feel. So, but yeah, they showed the new game off, just a trailer, and they're saying that the PC version is going to be updated to the PS4 graphics. So that's always good news.
Yeah.
They also announced 2 new Hatsune Miku games, Project Diva X and Arcade Future Tone. X is going to be on PS3 and PS4, while Future Tone is going to be an arcade port only on PS4. And they also showed off, this has been announced before, Miracle Girls Festival for the Vita, another rhythm game. Do you think that Sega has too many rhythm games at their booth?
I think in Japan it's one of those things where it's over here in America looking at it, you're like, why the hell are they making so many? But I feel like over there they can never have too many. I think, at least from my perspective, the market, it hasn't been oversaturated yet. It feels oversaturated to me, but I guess there's just so much of a fan base, and I'm certain that the people who play Miku will not be so into maybe the other ones. What was it, Miracle Girls?
Yeah, it's like a bunch of little girls. I don't know. I think they're part of a franchise for something else. I'm not sure.
I will say I'm very excited. I'm probably never going to play it, but the arcade one sounds great because I believe that has all of the Sega songs in it. So when they sang the Afterburner theme, and when they, I believe they had a song for Power Drift, and so that's cool. Hopefully those are hitting consoles. I really hope. And I heard the playlist is like insanely big, so that's nice.
It's like over 200 songs. It's ridiculous.
That's insane. That's like Samba de Amigo times 4. 5.
Oh yeah. And I also think it's weird, like, I know Sega fans are like, why so much Hatsune Miku? And I understand why they think this. I mean, Sega's producing lesser games, and they're trying to so Hatsune Miku's been a hit, so now more games are coming out for it. And I understand why it's happening. But I can also see why some Sega fans are like, I want real Sega games, or whatever they say.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would like to see new Space Channel 5 again. I mean, you already got a rhythm engine.
Yeah.
Might as well try.
It would be really cool for the Hatsune Miku games to start to bring in Sega characters. I wouldn't mind seeing one where it's like, you have Hatsune Miku, but then they're doing like Space Channel 5 songs or Samba de Amigo songs like as guest characters. I know Samba de Amigo, the Wii version, had Space Channel 5, had Ulala in it.
I would even like if they introduce Sega characters, kind of like little storylines you could do with them. Kind of like introduce Miku fans to Sega franchises they wouldn't know about,
Yeah.
Another game they announced, or not really announced, they just showed off, is Seven Dragon 3, code BFD, which is the 4th installment, even though it's 3 on the title. And this was coming out of 3DS. Do you think this one will make it to the West?
I don't think Sega will do anything to bring it over here. Atlus, on the other hand, you never know. We might start seeing Atlus, localizing Sega titles. We've already kind of seen that with what's coming out this November. You recently used it, Stella Glow. So it's possible. I don't know if the old Sega of America would be bringing it over, but given what changes are afoot, we could see. It might.
It is kind of sad that the other one's going to get brought over, even though the producers were higher up at Sega. They've been there forever, so it's kind of a little bit disappointing, Mm-hmm. But let's see if this one will make it to the West.
Yeah.
Another game they showed off was Fighting Climax Ignition, which is like an updated version of the one that's coming out this year. So do you think that's going to affect the US sales of the game when there's a newer version already announced in Japan?
I don't think so. I mean, I think fans are lucky enough to be getting the first one over here, and I don't think it's anyone's fault that they're making a sequel. I mean, they're making a sequel for the Japanese players, not for the Americans. But I guess if you're a big enough fan of it, then you should buy the one coming out in the hopes that the sequel comes out. Maybe they'll do something like Virtua Fighter, where the last version was actually digital, whereas the first version of the game was a packaged release. Maybe they'll do something like that, and I think that would make more sense.
Yeah, that would make more sense. I wouldn't mind if they just updated the game and like just for free. I mean, I know that's what Street Fighter V is doing, because I think there's a lot of people that feel like fighting games, they're burnt on them because there's always a new version like around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Sega needs to start thinking about that when they're making these type of games. They're going to be like yearly updated.
Yeah.
Another fighting, it's two fighting games. The other one was Blade Arceus from Shining EX, which is a 2D fighter featuring Shining Blade and Shining Hearts characters, both of which never got US releases. So this one's not coming to the US. But what are your thoughts about this game, Barry?
So it's the kind of, in some senses, some people consider it the bastardized version of Shining Force, and then they've made a spin-off fighting game. Yeah, I'm not really interested in this. I mean, I wasn't interested in the later Shining games to begin with. So, I don't feel like we're missing much.
I agree with that. But that was basically a chunk of Sega's E3 lineup. The other ones were, I mean, we're not really going to talk about these because I don't want to go too long, but Chain Chronicles is coming to Vita. Sega Reprint Archives 2 was showing on stage. The World End Eclipse on PC, mobile, and Vita were there. And a mobile pirate game. I can't even pronounce the game's name, so I'm not even going to try. But it's being done by Jet Set Radio director Masayoshi Kikuchi.
So you can say his name, but not the game's name.
It's really, it's like I've only seen it in Japanese writing, so I didn't even try to get a translation.
Yeah.
So he's doing a mobile game. I know somebody that's actually beta testing the game, and they tell me it's actually pretty fun. So I'm hoping that game makes it over here. But that's it. Atlus, Persona 5 was their big event. They announced that the game was going to be delayed till summer 2016, and they have an anime in the works. What are your thoughts about this?
I've never gotten into the Persona series, but this one looks like it might be the game that gets me into it.
Did you? I've seen some of the anime episodes. They're not for me technically. They just take parts of the game and then they like fast forward through days, so you're just like watching the game literally on TV as an anime. So just buy the game. That's what I suggest.
Yeah.
It's worth the experience at least. But this game looks great, and I'm glad they're delaying it. I don't know if Atlus usually delays Persona titles, but if whatever makes it the best game.
Yeah.
They also announced 13 Sentinels, the Vanillaware sci-fi, what is it? RPG? 2D RPG?
It's like 2.5D. All the environments are 3D, and it seems like the characters, or at least the humans, are 2D, and then the robots are 3D. It looks really impressive. It looks like a painting come to life.
What do you think about it coming for the Vita and the PS4? Like, that's kind of weird. They kind of skipped the PS3, and it's also both Sony. I mean, notice that a lot of the Sega stuff and Atlus stuff was Sony exclusive.
Yeah. I did hear people complaining that there was no Xbox One, but let's be honest, it's Japan. They don't care about Xbox One. Why should they?
And Nintendo's not doing that great, so
yeah.
This game looks good. I mean, I think a lot of people have been looking forward to their next big game.
Yeah.
Atlus and Vanillaware. So I'm going to play this for sure. The other one, they announced a remake of Odin Sphere for the PS3, PS4, and Vita. The original came out on the PlayStation 2. Have you played the PlayStation 2 one, and are you looking forward to this one?
I have not played it. No, have you?
I've only played a little bit of it. So and I liked what I played. The problem is that when I tried to buy the game, it was already kind of rare. Like, I couldn't find it anywhere because Atlus does limited prints. So I'm gonna, pick this up probably on the PS4. And I'm looking forward to this remake.
So that's the entirety, or at least the major points of Tokyo Game Show. Would you say the show was a success or a failure?
It depends on what you expected. I think a lot of fans expected more diversity coming out of Sega's video games, and I felt like it was very obvious what they were going to go for. I mean, they had 2 fighting games that kind of look alike, anime-based fighting games, and they had all these rhythm games, and they had more Yakuza games. So if you were expecting Sega to like branch out and do stuff you didn't expect, you're going to be disappointed. But if you wanted Sega to keep on releasing the hits they've been releasing lately, then you'd be happy. And anything that you thought was going to make an appearance that didn't?
I was really thinking that we were going to see that non-Yakuza game from the Yakuza team, and I still feel like it exists. They just didn't announce it at this show, or it may have been internally kind of quietly canceled in favor of Yakuza. But one interesting thing is we did report on a mystery game called Lexus. Now, has it been confirmed that is actually Yakuza 6?
They didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
They haven't said anything about it.
It was PS3 and PS4, so I'm assuming maybe that's the Yakuza Extreme. There is X in both of those. Lexus, Extreme. That's just me making a shot in the dark, but... I expected maybe one surprise title. I did not expect Sonic, and I did not expect like Jet Set Radio HD or Shenmue HD. I feel like it's been a long time since SEGA of Japan has gone to Tokyo Game Show and said, "Hey, we're re-releasing a game that was really popular in the West." That's not their style. That's not what they do.
Definitely not. And I think that's kind of, I don't know if that's a negative. I mean, I think you should always try to make all your brands be popular worldwide, but also not force developers to, sugarcoat the game to like appeal to Americans or Europeans. I think Atlus does a great job with their games. I mean, Persona 5 is a very Japanese game, but yet it sells a lot in the West. I think giving them freedom, just make a fun game. I mean, that's basically it. What do you think about, Sega of America really didn't even acknowledge that Tokyo Game Show was around. I don't know, is that a negative or a positive?
I'd say if they did acknowledge it, people would immediately think, well, if SEGA of America just tweeted about this game, it's coming over here, So I think they're maybe trying to keep people's expectations in check. They know that people who really care about the Japanese output will follow the Japanese Twitter feed for SEGA or even fan sites like ourselves. So maybe they just felt like it wasn't their job, or it wasn't in their best interest to promote things that may or may not make it over here.
Yeah, I think that's the issue too. Like you want to show these cool Sega Dreamcast shoes off, but people are just going to complain why aren't they sold in the West?
Yeah. If you'd like more Sega news, check us out at SEGAbits.com, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our social networks.
はい、というわけでセガブースさんでね、大きなステージで、ブレードアークスフロムシャイニング EX のステージを終えたところなんですけどもね、ジャスティ千原さんも近藤プロデューサー